So I moved out to California, wound up in this band called The Squares. Jeff Campitelli, who's playing with me now, was in the band.
Joe Satriani is a famous American guitar player, songwriter, composer, musician, record producer, multi-instrumentalist, and actor who had a successful music career as a solo artist. The musician founded the G3 Tour back in 1995, and Joe has worked with a range of guitarists during the G3 Tour. In 1991, Joe won the California Music Award for Outstanding Guitarist. Then in 2015, he received a Classic Rock and Roll of Honor Award for the Maestro. This guitarist is generally referred to as the top guitar virtuoso, and Joe has mastered a number of performance techniques on electric guitars, such as two-handed tapping, legato, arpeggio tapping, and extremely whammy bar effects.
I had a singing bass player who was a great vocalist. And we worked from about 79 through 84, just killing ourselves.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video. His full name is Joseph Satriani, but he's also known as Satch. He was born on July 15, 1956 in Westbury, New York, United States, making him 64 at the time of this production. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, or 1.715 meters. The star sign of this popular musician is Cancer, and the color of Satriani's eyes is dark brown, while he weighs 70 kilograms. Although Joe was a vegetarian, he started eating fish since it was hard for him to maintain a high-quality vegetarian diet during tours. Joe also loves snowboarding and skiing, and Joe goes to Devil's Slide for snowboarding. Moreover, the guitarist also keeps a notebook by his bed, and one night he woke up after a dream and wrote 5 words to describe that dream. Later, those words became the title of his song, The Luminous Flesh of Giants. He also taught guitar to some future rock stars, such as Larry Lalonde, David Bryson, Kirk Hammett, and Steve Vai. Joe is also an advocate of music education in schools, and since he's a strong supporter of music education, this great guitarist has refused to make money from releasing instructional videos to the retail market. Several workshops as well as video lessons from Satriani are available online for free. Furthermore, Joe is also an official supporter of a non-profit organization called Little Kids Rock, which aims at providing free musical instruments as well as education to children in underserved public schools in the United States of America. Although Satriani has been nominated for a Grammy Award 15 times, this guitarist has never won a Grammy Award. The first guitar of Joe was a Hagstrom electric guitar, and he's considered as a highly technical guitarist. The famous musician loves to go food shopping and has said that he gets energized by being around vegetables and fruits. The favorite band of this musician is Soad, and his favorite mode is Phrygian Dominant, and Joe uses an Apple Macintosh computer in his personal and professional life. For exercise, this guitarist loves to jog, and for warming up his hands, Satriani always dips his wrists in a bucket of warm water before going on stage for his performance. Joe's father died in 1989 when he was recording the album called Flying in a Blue Dream. Back in 1979, Joe met Rubina at a birthday party through mutual friends. Joe fell in love with her and started dating Rubina. They got married in 1981 and also have a son. Rubina and Joe still live together at their house in San Francisco. Joe's wife does guitar paint jobs. Their son, Zachariah Satriani, was born February 10, 1992, and is a famous filmmaker, director, and actor. Zachariah is most popular for his work in Advice, released in 2015, and Beyond the Supernova, released in 2018. Lastly, the nickname of Joe's son is ZZ.
Trying to become famous and popular, and we played clubs. We got as big as we could in the San Francisco Bay Area and couldn't get arrested anywhere else, outside that.
Born in New York, Joe is of Italian descent, and the paternal grandparents of Joe were from Bobbio and Piacenza. On the other hand, Satriani's maternal grandparents were from Bari. The guitarist was born to John and Catherine Satriani, and he also has a brother named John. The sisters of Joe, Carol and Joan, are also artists. When Joe was 14 years old, he became inspired to play guitar after he heard about the death of Jimi Hendrix. He was a football player and left during football practice after announcing to his coach that he would become a guitarist. Joe studied with Lenny Tristano and Billy Bauer in 1974, and later he started teaching guitar. For studies, Joe attended Five Towns College and moved to Berkeley in 1978 to pursue his music career. Initially, Joe joined the band called The Squares and continued to make musical connections. Later, the musician was invited to become a part of the Greg Kihn Band, and he recorded his first album called Not of This Earth with this band. Joe's first album was released in 1986, and the following year, Satriani released his second album called Surfing with the Alien, which was commercially successful. The famous musician collaborated to produce the EP The Eyes of Horror for the death metal band called Possessed. Then in 1992, Satriani released the album called The Extremist, which is the most commercially successful album of this artist. During the next year, he joined Deep Purple during the Japanese tour of the band. Although Joe had joined this band temporarily, he was asked to become a permanent member since the live concerts were so successful. However, Joe declined this offer. Later, the musician founded the G3 concert tour in 1996. He released Crystal Planet in 1998. Then in 2002, Joe released Strange Beautiful Music. During 2005, the artist toured India and played concerts in Mumbai, Kolkata, and Delhi. In 2008, the musician released his album called Professor Saxophonculus and the Mysterian of Rock. He also participated in the Experience Hendrix tribute tour with other guitarists in 2010 and performed music written and inspired by Hendrix. In 2018, the guitarist released his 16th album called What Happens Next, which was also a commercially successful album.
Found it in a coffee shop or something, and I'm looking at all these records by people, and I thought, we should be doing this, you know. We should be making our own records instead of killing ourselves trying to get a record deal.
Joe earned $12 million as lead guitarist for the first solo tour of Mick Jagger, and the famous musician had sold more than 10 million copies during his career. Furthermore, Satriani is considered as one of the biggest-selling instrumental rock guitarists in the world. Satriani also makes extra money with brand endorsements, and his endorsement deals include Ibanez's JS Series and PV. Live concerts as well as world tours have also added to Joe's net worth. In 1986, Joe released an album called Crowded House with the band Crowded House, and over 1.5 million copies of this album were sold. Satriani made $2 million from this album, and the next year, this guitarist earned more than $2 million from the album Surfing. And then in 1989, Flying was released, and more than 900,000 copies of this album were sold. The guitarist earned $1.19 million from this album. In 2011, Satriani worked in the movie Moneyball, which made more than $111 million in worldwide box office sales. Furthermore, the value of Joe's official website is $17,500. The total net worth of Joe Satriani is $12 million. Joe Satriani lives in his house in San Francisco along with his wife. The beautiful home has a spacious garage, 3 bedrooms, and swimming pool. Joe likely owns the following cars: a Rolls-Royce, a Ford Mustang convertible, a Mercedes-Benz 600, a Chevrolet Camaro, a Volkswagen Beetle,